welcome everyone to this week's BFG review. Now before I get started, I want to thank anyone who's watched my previous videos and remind everyone to please like, share, and subscribe to help grow the channel. With that out of the way, on to this week's film, which is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Directed by Joachim Ronan and starring Angelina Jolie, Ellie Fanning, Harris Dickinson, Sam Riley, Ed Skrein, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Michelle Pfeiffer. This film follows Maleficent and her goddaughter Aurora as they begin to question their complex family ties and are pulled into opposite directions by impending nuptials, unexpected allies, and dark new forces. So, I want to start with my feelings towards the first Maleficent film before I get into my thoughts on the sequel. And honestly, I thought the first film was just okay. The story was okay, the characters okay, and the visuals, you guessed it, okay. The entire film to me was quite average, all except for Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. She was designed for this character and clearly is having a blast playing the part, which makes her endlessly enjoyable to watch on screen. Other than that, however, the film to me was just kind of meh. Now, what do I think of the sequel? Pretty much the same thing. I feel that this film's biggest issue is with its tone. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a dark and edgy movie for teens and young adults, or a fun fantasy film for children. Maleficent 2 will go from one scene of people being killed in a pretty gruesome manner to another joking about how Maleficent can't smile properly. And this can be really distracting. Maleficent 2 feels unfocused overall. Maleficent herself is almost sidelined in this film. It seems like the film wanted to focus more on Aurora rather than the titular character. Also, the film just jumps from one scene to another with very little connective tissue, which again just adds to the unfocused feeling. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil also has a pacing issue that it shares with its predecessor, in that while there is a lot that happens in the first and third act, the second act comes to a screeching halt. Very little actually happens except for exposition explaining the first act or setup for the climax, which I will admit was pretty action-packed and fun to watch. Seeing Maleficent use the full potential of her powers was thrilling and quite enjoyable. The film's effects also far surpassed those of the first, all except for the pink, green, and blue fairies, whose bobblehead designs are just creepy, ugly, and unsettling. And again, Angelina Jolie is perfect for this role. While she chews some scenery at times, it's easy to tell that she's having so much fun that you just have fun watching her. I just wish the film focused more on her rather than Aurora. All the other performances in this film are also great. Everyone takes their part seriously and it shows. The two standouts for me were probably Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Skrein, who are both two people kind of just looking for a reason for war. There's also a decent message of judging people for yourself and not based on what you hear. The plot, however, is fairly predictable. Anytime a character or element is introduced, you can probably guess exactly how it'll come back in the film. And while the film isn't particularly funny, I did actually find myself chuckling a few times. So, in the end, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is an unfocused mess in both story and tone. That does, however, have a couple of laughs, a decent climax, and an amazing lead performance. And in my opinion, earns a C- letter grade. Honestly, I think if you like the first Maleficent, you probably like this one just fine. But I just didn't like the first one too much. So, those are my thoughts on the film. Let me know your thoughts on the film, as well as your thoughts on the drawing in the comment section down below. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification button to be notified anytime I put up a new video. Thanks everyone, and have a great day.
you.